What is good, everyone? Going live to discuss, tell my story about how I went from broke and basically homeless to Lyft driving, to creating a plan and following through with that plan to break into tech, and then in less than a year, I haven't even been in tech in less than a year. I've made it to $250,000 in tech. Technically a little more, but I'm going to be a little modest. I'm going to say just $250,000 because the year isn't up yet. Who knows? Might end up at about 230,000, 220,000. Could be up to about 300,000 by the end of the year. Who knows? Either way, I'm enjoying the ride, and I'm trying to share the story with you and share the tips and information with everybody here. So thank y'all for tuning in. We got some dope stuff to talk about. Let me actually pin what the topic is for people who can't see it at the top. All right, I'm typing in the title right now, and I'm going to pin it. How I got to, let's put I got to 250K in tech in this title is super long, less than a year. Boom, there we go. I'm going to pin that mug. Bloop, 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 bloop. All right, so how I got to 250K in tech in less than a year. So I want to be mindful of everyone's time, those of you who are here on time. So first, I'm just going to do some quick greetings, and then we'll go ahead and get started. We're going to go, when we get started, I'm going to tell my story. Some of you know the story already, but I'm going to go really in depth with the story to give more insight as to how transformational this was for me. Let me fix my lighting. I'm gonna go a little bit more in depth in my story, give some insight. I'm also going to talk about not just how I got into tech, because most of you know that, but I'm going to talk about, me breaking into tech, me getting my job, and how I've scaled at my job as well as in this industry. Hey, what's up? We got some people from Jamaica. Woo, almost bust out a raggedy, my raggedy Jamaican accent. I'm happy I didn't do that because I would have embarrassed myself. So thank you for everybody who's tuning in, man. I hope that this live is really impactful, that this blesses a lot of people. So for anyone who's unfamiliar with me, my name is Cyrus Harbin. I mean, obviously y'all follow me on social, or most of y'all do at least. I'm a believer. I love Jesus. I love people. And I'm a young dude from Gary, Indiana, from the ghetto. I didn't go to college, not educated outside of YouTube and reading books and stuff like that and listening to audiobooks. So I'm just a guy who, man, God's hand is on me. God has opened up my eyes to certain things in this technology space. God has connected me with dope people as well that have taught me things, put me on game. And I just have a passion for seeing people flourish, whether that's in, people knew me back when I was like ministering really heavy, talking a lot about God really heavy, which I still care a lot about. I want to see people flourish in their relationship with God. I like to see people flourish in their actual romantic relationships. And same thing is just now I'm working on helping people flourish financially. So that's what it's all about. The mission is always about people. It's always about loving God and loving people at the end of the day. That's what the mission always is. And it looks different talking about tech, looks different talking about money. But at the end of the day, the heart is to help people. So that's my little spiel. Thank y'all again for everybody who's tuning in. I'll go ahead and get started with the story. Kind of share my story about everything. I got a lot of questions that y'all sent in already. Thank y'all for the love. No one, don't feel like pressured to get any badges. If you feel touched and you want to get a badge, that's totally cool. But we're going to talk about this and I'm going to answer all the questions and we're going to end this live. So, all right. So how did it all start? Excuse me if y'all get my washing machine in the background, but how did it all start? So a lot of people, no one knew, not even close friends knew that 3 years ago, I went like homeless. my career, I used to be a poet. My career as a poet like ended in one summer because a relationship I was in ended. And when that relationship ended and she kind of publicly let it be known that I broke her heart, the backlash of that was so crazy from the church that event after event after event, church after church after church, cancel all my speaking engagements that I had for the summer. I ended up doing like one speaking engagement. Basically, I lost out on about $10,000 I would have made that summer, which, because I was living off of poetry, that was my livelihood. That was everything I had. So I ended up going completely broke. My car broke down. I didn't have any place to stay. And man, it was so embarrassing. This girl that I was dating at the time, like we had literally just started dating, and we started dating around this period when everything started shutting down. She was like, hey, why don't you come and kind of stay with me for a little minute? And I was like, I don't do that. You know, I'm a man. I got to have my own. That's going to look tacky. That's going to look whack. Yeah, y'all saying, wow, I'm sorry. Hey, look, I'm going to tell you, God is good. God did that because God wanted to teach me a lot of lessons. So I'm so grateful that happened, because me getting my butt like sat down in that way and me like basically getting canceled by the church, God used that in some incredible ways to like develop a lot of my character. So anyway, I ended up going and staying with her. She was like, oh, just stay with me for like a couple months till you get on your feet, all of that. When I tell y'all, this was such an eye-opening experience because I learned so much about women when I ended up staying at this girl's place, where basically she, little by little, she didn't see me as a man. She couldn't respect me as a man. No matter how nice I was, no matter how like much we prayed and we talked about God and all of that stuff, at the end of the day, a woman at her core wants a man who is a provider, wants a man who's taking care of things. And really, truth be told, she was basically paying for everything while I was trying to get up on my feet. So at the time, I didn't understand it. At the time, I blamed her. At the time, I was like, man, like, you know, how's she going to kind of like start catching attitudes with me because I'm trying to get on my feet? She knew this. Nevertheless, I look back in hindsight and I'm like, well, no, understanding women better now. I respect that she tried to be graceful, tried to be loving, all of that. But at the end of the day, it's just hard for a woman to be attracted to a man when he's in her car in the passenger side. She's paying the bills, all those things that are super unattractive. So this isn't a relationship live, so I'm not going to go too in depth in that story. But it was incredibly humbling for me to basically be in a space where I couldn't be a man, because it's like, how are you going to be a man? How are you going to lead when at the end of the day, the woman you with is running everything? She's paying for everything. So that was really tough. So the relationship started getting really strenuous, straining. So eventually it was like, yo, okay, I need to move out. So for a while, I kind of like crashed on different friends' couches, and no one on social media knew this. I would still hop on social media every now and again, make posts about God. You know, if you look back at the posts now, you can tell kind of how raggedy, like you can get little glimpses of how raggedy my life was. But at the time, you know, nobody really noticed it. So anyway, I was crashing on different friends' couches, staying here, staying there. Eventually, I moved in with my eldest sister, and she didn't have an extra bedroom, but I was able to stay in my niece's bedroom. No weird, funny uncle-niece stuff. Just for clarity, society's weird nowadays. My niece would stay in my sister's room with her because she liked to sleep in the bed with her, like most daughters like to do with their mom. So I was staying in my niece's bedroom. Her bedroom was a My Little Pony bedroom. Like the cover was My Little Pony. She had a huge carpet or rug on the floor that was My Little Pony. The pillowcases were My Little Pony. The decor, everything in the room was My Little Pony. It was, even when the lights turned out, she had one of those globes that would turn that had like ponies, like lights, like ponies would be on the wall. Like, y'all, this was so humiliating for me as a man that I was having to sleep in like a little 5-year-old, a bed that was made for a little 5-year-old girl, and a little twin size bed with My Little Pony stuff. And so it was, it was hella humbling. And so I didn't have a car. I didn't have a job. I had nothing. I wasn't even at the bus line. The bus didn't even pass by here. So my career was over as a poet, and I'm like, yo, what am I going to do? So God used that season to really like crush me. And being goofy, I was trying to like still kind of talk to women, date women at the time, get to know women, and which is the goofiest thing. But just naturally, none of us want to be alone, especially when we're sad, we're depressed, we're lonely. We don't want to be alone. And I didn't even have a lot of guy friends because at the time, a lot of my homeboys had cut me off because they were really cool with my ex. Like their wives were really cool with my ex. So when I broke it off with my ex and broke her heart, my homeboys' wives felt the way about me at the time. We're all cool now, but they felt the way about me. And by default, my homeboys were like, Cyrus, we love you, bro, but these are our wives. They had to put their wives first, and I respect that. So anyway, I'm talking to my sister. I'm trying to figure out a way to make money. I'm trying to figure out something to do. So my sister talks to me about Lyft driving. So, why don't you Lyft drive? And I was like, oh, I ain't got no, I don't have a car. And she told me, oh, you can rent a car from Lyft. And she told me like, she was like, it's going to cost you a lot of money. Like they're going to charge you like $1,000. It used to be $1,000. Then it went up to $1,200. Now I think it's like $1,500 a month. She was like, so basically they're going to charge you a lot of money, but that means you're going to have to really, really like drive a lot. So I created a plan where I was like, okay, I'm going to, and I've given this same plan to a few people. Now, the reason why I'm sharing this part of the story is not just to show you where I came from, but also to show you how it doesn't matter what position you're in. You could be carless, not have a job, no source of income, all of that. And you can climb your way out of it. You could be living in the ghetto, wherever. You can climb your way out of it. So I started Lyft driving. And I created a bit of a schedule while I was doing it. And my plan was to Lyft drive for X amount of time until I saved up a certain amount of money. And then I could put a down payment on my own car to get a car note. And then that way I could continue Lyft driving. But instead of paying Lyft $1,200 a month, now I just have to pay a car note and car insurance that'll only run me about $600, $700 a month, saving that additional $500. So, and again, I'm giving this extra information because I want to help people think of game plans and how you can like move and maneuver and stuff. So I was Lyft driving, and I wasn't just Lyft driving. I realized that I was like, yo, I think I was 29 at the time. I was like, yo, I'm 29 years old. I'm at the same place in my life I was at when I was 19. If I go out and I apply for jobs, I can maybe get like a $12 an hour, $13 an hour job. Super embarrassing. 29-year-old man working $12, $13 an hour jobs. This large social media following. People think I'm somebody special, but I'm broke and I'm staying in a My Little Pony bedroom. Like, that's why this social media stuff can be goofy. Like, it doesn't matter how many followers someone has or doesn't have. It's like you don't really know what's going on in their life behind the scenes. I know some people personally that have a couple 100,000 followers, and they've like had to bum some money up off of me here and there. And again, I don't say that to shame anyone, just giving perspective as to like these numbers half the time don't mean nothing. So anyway, so I created a plan. Now I knew that something needed to change in my thinking, and I knew something needed to change in my education because I was like, okay, if I apply for jobs, I'm not going to get anything. I realized that I was lazy, so I had a lazy mentality. I didn't know how to make money. I didn't think of money, like I didn't even really care about money that much. Like my thinking of money was really weird and skewed, and it was basically because being a black man who grew up in poverty and also growing up in like kind of backwood black churches where, in those communities, like money isn't really talked about unless it's the prosperity gospel. No one really talks about the way you think and associate money, work ethic, creating a plan, all of that stuff. It's all theoretical, but nothing really coached or trained. So while I was Lyft driving, God started impressing on my heart that he wanted to change my way of thinking. And God told me to start reading books about business, books about marketing. God started telling me to read those secular books like I was raised to be taught they were. And I was like, okay, cool. So I downloaded Audible. And while I would Lyft drive, I would listen to Audible. And I've read a bunch of books or listened to a bunch of books while Lyft driving, from Rich Dad, Poor Dad, The Richest Man in Babylon. I've read Jeff Bezos' story, Elon Musk's story. I've read Steve Jobs' story, everything with Apple. I mean, the list goes on and on from the different business books that I read. And God used these books to transform my way of thinking. I read a book called The Compound Effect, which a fellow Marine buddy of mine, I served in the Marine Corps for 6 years. What's good, E-Man? What's good, bro? I read a book called The Compound Effect. And anyway, I read a crap ton of books while Lyft driving because my thinking needed to change. And again, there's purpose in me telling this part of the story. This might seem random. I know people are just like, no, how you get to $250,000? All of this is how I got to $250,000. Because if the poetry Cyrus, if someone just put me in tech, either one, I wouldn't have been able to maintain my career in tech, or two, I definitely would not have scaled to where I'm at now. So again, I'm sharing this. This won't apply to everyone, but for those this does apply to. If you know that you're like not the most hardworking person, if you know that you're not the most competent person, or you don't like to think on like higher levels, you need to educate yourself. You need books. Like, if you don't like to read books, I don't like to sit down and read a book outside of the Bible. Listen to Audible while you working out, while you driving. Like, educate yourself. It'll transform. The Bible says that the Bible talks about how reading the Word of God, like how we renew our minds with the reading of the Word of God. Like, we renew our minds in a righteous way by reading God's Word. But that's the same thing for whatever you read. Whatever you read, you're renewing your mind to think more like that. So you read God's Word, you're renewing your mind to think more godly. On the flip side, you read business books. I don't care who you are. You could be super ignorant, whatever. You read business books, you continue to pour that into yourself. It's going to start unlocking things in your mind to where you're going to start thinking on a higher level, particularly when it comes to business, finances, economics, all those different things. It really transforms your thinking. And so I was Lyft driving, getting treated like trash, people disrespecting me, like the wildest, like I have the wildest stories, people pulling guns out on me, women treating me like I was like I would just say, people would get in the car and I would say, hey, how are you doing? Women would get in the car and they would just say drive and then look at their phone, like being treated like scum. But I knew that there was something greater that was coming. And so I dealt with it. I pushed through it. And so I continued doing this. And again, I continued to educate myself with these books. Eventually I got my own vehicle. So I was able to give Lyft their car back. I was able to get my own vehicle, which allowed me to keep more of my money to myself. And then I created a plan to where I could move out from my sisters, or move out from living in my niece's My Little Pony bedroom. So I moved out. But even then when I moved out, I didn't have like money like that. So and my credit was trash. My credit was in the low 500s, might have been the upper 400s. My credit was trash. Everything was trash. So I moved. I still was in the hood, but I moved to a house. And this is where in the last couple of years before I moved where I live at now, where people have known me, where I was living at, where I was living in a basement that was renovated and turned into an apartment. Still in the hood off of MLK in Atlanta. But this was the first time in a while that I had my own space to myself. So I continued Lyft driving. I created more of a structured schedule. Because of reading these books, I started understanding, creating a budget, having a good budget, saving, scaling, all of that. Still wasn't fully sure what I wanted to do. And still praying, Lyft driving, knowing, this car is going to break down eventually. I have to create a game plan to get up out of this mug before this car breaks down. So around the time I ended up starting up attempted to start up a business, literally the same week COVID hit. The same week COVID hit and everything got shut down, I met up with a couple friends who were in tech, ironically. They were all in tech. And I had a vision for something that was going to help people in the church community with events and stuff. Anybody knows me, y'all know my background. I used to promote different Christian events and stuff. That was something I did heavy. And so anyway, I was working on this business plan with a couple homeboys of mine that were in tech and some other friends. We had some interns, people that helped out with it. But unfortunately, because of it wasn't really able to scale. So I'm still Lyft driving. Now, my car is about to break down because at this point, it's broken down a couple times and I've had to pay big money to get it fixed. And that's the Jeep that I had. I kept having to pay money to get it fixed. And I told my homeboy, I said, hey, now this is my homeboy he is in tech. He's a software developer. And he works freelance jobs. He makes a couple $100,000 a year. If he wanted to, he could make $500,000 a year. He's just that type of person. If he decides to do this, decides to do that, whatever, it's going to happen. He's really gifted. And so he was making so much money and I was so broke. And this is when the whole culture making podcast thing was going on. We were talking a lot heavy about relationships and all of that. And I was at a place where I'm like, yo, I'm 30, 31 years old. And I was like, man, like, I'm broke. Like, you know, I'm not at a place where I can really, you know, I'm still trying to date women, all of that. And I was like, man, I'm not at a place where I could truly provide for a woman. And one thing for the fellas that are here listening in, fellas, women in their early 20s are not the same as women when they're in their late 20s and early 30s. Girls in their early 20s, when they dating you in your early 20s, they in their early 20s, women will be patient if you broke and you ain't got nothing going on. The older women get, the less patient they get. They meet a man who's 30, and y'all know, I'm sure y'all have experienced it. When we 30, 35, 40, all of that, unless a woman ain't got no options and she just like, okay, what is that Kevin Samuels used to say whenever people were over 35? Anyway, it's like the women are like, they're not patient. They're like, no, play, I'm not going to date you because you ain't got no stuff together. You're how old? Like you're 30, 31. I don't care how fine you are. I don't care how nice you dress. I don't care how good you smell. It's like, no, straight up. Especially if the women have built themselves up. But y'all already know how hypergamy works, so I ain't going to go in depth with that. But anyway, so my homeboy, though, he's able to date. He's able to go to nice restaurants. He was able to maneuver and move. He also was bankrolling a lot of things in our business. And so I ended up telling him, I said, hey, bro, I think I'm going to have to put the business on pause. And I'm going to need to get like a real job. And I need to stop Lyft driving because my car is about to break down. I said, I can feel it. My car is about to break down. And I said, if my car breaks down, I have no source of income because I was still paying a car note. At the time, I still owed like $10,000 on the Jeep. So I'm like, but I'm Lyft driving. So the miles on the Jeep are going up. Like, it's like, 6 months of Lyft driving is the equivalent of somebody driving a car like 4 years or 5 years. It's crazy. So my homeboy, now this is the part of the story some of y'all know. My homeboy said to me, he was like, you gonna stop the business so you can like get a job. So he was like, well, he was like, how much money do you make Lyft driving? He was like, what you make like 40,000 a year Lyft driving? Now, mind you, I was doing other stuff. I was doing my counseling sessions, and I was people were still booking me for virtual poetry stuff. And I had like this part-time job that I would do like 2 days a week. But at the end of the day, the bulk of my income was Lyft driving. So I was making roughly about $50,000 to $60,000, give or take, like expenses and stuff with the car from Lyft driving. So my homeboy is like, yo, so you make like 40,000 Lyft driving, right? I was like, yeah. This man said to me, now he and I were the same age. Listen, he said to me, he said, well, how about you stop Lyft driving? He was like, I just pay you $40,000 a year. He was like, you can keep doing the other stuff you do on the side. He was like, but just stop Lyft driving. He says, and then focus all of your energy on the business. But he also said that if he was going to do that, then the business would be his, and that I would have equity in the business and I would be like an executive, but it would be his business and no longer our business, which was the right business decision on his part. He wasn't being foul. He was being smart. But understanding when he made that statement that he could replace I was Lyft driving like 50 hours, 55, 60 hours a week. The fact that this man could say, oh, I could replace 60 hours of your life. I could just pay you that. That's such chump change to me. I could just pay you that and continue living my life. And that's not even going to affect my pockets. When I tell you, yeah, someone said, as a man, I would have felt emasculated. So I felt appreciative. I'm not someone who's easy to get emasculated. I felt appreciative as a homeboy. Nevertheless, I'm a man. So still as a man, that really like light bulb went off where I said, no. And I didn't say this to him, but at the moment I said, no, I got to get in tech. Now, at the time, I had been to a couple like tech events because I had a few friends that were in tech and I was intrigued by the space. But when I realized this dude who was the same age as me, and I mean, when I tell y'all, this man had way more free time than I had. Like, he had so much free time. And I was like, how in the world is this dude making so much money? Like, that junk blew my mind. It blew my mind. And that's when I was like, no, I said, I got to stop. I said, my whole life needs to stop. I got to stop this BS of trying to start some, BS business. And even though the business the intentions were good, and I'm going to spin the block and start it up now with more education, now with finances, it can do better. And now that COVID is kind of calming down, it'll do better. But I'm like, yo, I need to stop doing this goofy stuff, trying to be a poet, trying to be start up a business, and I ain't even really got no finances. I ain't got this, I ain't got that. I said, I need to stop being goofy. I need to grow up as a man. I need to do something that is a safe, legitimate bet that will bring me a large amount of income to be a provider for my family. I'm looking goofy trying to date women when I'm having a Lyft drive 60, 70 hours a week. I'm low-key embarrassed telling any woman I'm talking to that I'm a Lyft driver, because some of them would act goofy about it. Not goofy, it would be unattractive to them. Even if I was making more money than them with everything I was doing, just the title. Like women, ladies, no shade to y'all. Y'all know y'all are very attracted to like titles, like what a man does. It's not just income, it's also title. It's also if he's blue collar or if he's white collar. Women will be more attracted to an attorney who's making $110,000, but he looking real GQ in that suit every day, versus, dudes in tech who are making $250,000, $300,000, but they dress like nerds. They got the whole backpack on, and they don't have that very GQ look. And it's like, there's something about an attorney, a doctor, those different types of titles and things. And nothing wrong with that. We're all wired in our own ways. God's made us unique. Yeah. You said it's also class. Yeah, it's definitely class. It's something very classy about about certain careers and certain roles. But anyway, so I'm like, okay, I got to do something. So I started. Now I had been looking into tech boot camps, because I knew for a fact, I was like, man, I'm not about to do 4 years of school. I was like, I'm freaking like knocking on 30. I was 30. I was like, I'm not going to do 4 years of school. I was like, I have to at least try to find some way to get into tech. But I knew I wasn't educated when it came to tech. But what I did know was that I said, okay, I know my work ethic is different now. And my thinking, I think on a higher level now. So I was researching tech boot camps. I saw one that's called Flatiron that'll teach you how to be a developer and all of that. And I checked out a couple other ones. I went to some events where I took some tests, and I was like, okay, I don't want to be a developer. I don't want to be a programmer, a coder. They're all like different names for basically the same thing. I don't want to do that. I was like, man. So then I found out about sales engineering roles. I found out about sales engineering and tech sales. Fast forward, I found out about CourseCareers, the boot camp that I ended up doing that helped me break into tech. And let me say real quick for people that are tuning in, I have questions that y'all sent in. I'm going to answer all the questions as soon as I'm done telling the story. Some of your questions will get answered with me telling this second half of the story. And then I'll answer everyone else's questions. I'll pull the questions up and we'll answer them. Anyway, so I do CourseCareers. So I signed up. The CourseCareers, it cost at the time $3,500. I signed up. I paid half up front. Now, I actually paid for CourseCareers right after I moved. I paid right after I moved. So I moved from the hood to where I live at now. I live in Vinings. It's by the Braves Stadium in Atlanta. So this is a nice area. It's not a rich area. There are definitely a lot of rich people that live out here, but this is not the hood. It's a very nice area. It was a step of faith for me to move out here, because my rent when I was staying where I used to stay at was only $750 a month. And my rent here is $1,600 a month. So I moved here on faith. I was like, no, I'm going to put myself in such a stressful situation where I'm going to have to like grit my teeth and figure it out straight up. So I got to do what I got to do as a man. I was too comfortable living where I was living in the hood because I could afford that. I could find ways to pay $700, $750 a month. I was like, no. I need to put myself in a position, in a situation like here, $1,600 a month, where I can't afford this, a car note, and everything else while Lyft driving. Also, my Jeep broke down at the time. So because I didn't have any source of income, I ended up having to buy a Hyundai, get a Hyundai. So I had two car notes. So now I'm paying $1,300 a month with 2 car notes and insurance, full coverage insurance on both cars. And now I'm moving to a place where rent is now $1,600 a month. And I mean, the wheels are, y'all already know. So I'm like, I gotta get it. I can't play, I gotta get it. And this is why I say my homeboy E-Man and other people who've gotten in tech through careers, I say, like, the only 2 things you need to break into tech after a tech boot camp and also maintain and scale your career, you need to be competent and you need to be hardworking. Competent, you know, like, you have to have a student mentality. You cannot be, you can't be lazy. Like, do not be a lazy person and try to be in tech. The money here is good, but they pay you well because they treat you like you're a leader. Like, they trust you. They give you assignments, and 9 times out of 10, no one's checking on you. You know, when I work from home, like, I stop working when I stop working. Nobody hits me up like, hey, Cyrus, you know, why'd you stop working at 2 o'clock today, 1 o'clock today? I stop working when I stop working. Some days I work until 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. But I choose to do that, and they trust me to lead. They trust me to work hard. They trust me to make the best decisions for the business on my behalf, on my end. And so, anyway, so I found out about Careers. I did some research. I looked online. There were people that were saying it was legit. There were people that were saying it was a scam. Y'all know how that stuff is. All I knew was that I had to get it. I was like, yo, I got to get it. Like, straight up. I ain't got nothing to play around with. So I you know, what's that audio? You know, I got the ball. I bounced it. I shoot. I missed it. Psych. I switched it. That whole thing. Like, I paid half up front. I did Careers. Now, I'm not going to talk too much about what Careers was like. The reason why is because I've done that before. And also, I have, if anybody looks at my highlights on my page, I have tech FAQs where you can go and there's one that's about Careers and one that's about CourseCareers. You can go and check those out to get more in-depth information about how they do stuff. But long story short, I did Careers. It was only 2 hours. It was only 2 hours a day. So my schedule, I'm going to tell y'all my schedule. I was not playing. My schedule, I woke up at around 11 a.m. noonish because I was Lyft driving overnight. I woke up around that time. I would go to the gym, come home, shower up, change, spend time with God, look over some of the material that Careers gave me. I'll spend like 15 to 20 minutes a day looking over the material. Careers, it was virtual. Literally where I'm sitting at now is where I took Careers. My backdrop wasn't the same. I didn't have this nice desk that my company got me. Didn't have the monitors, all of that. I had a rinky-dink $150 laptop that I bought from a pawn shop that was about to break down. And I was using a little dusty-looking webcam. No, actually, I started using my cell phone to be on Zoom because that's how bad the webcam was on a laptop. And so I did Careers doing that. It was only two and a half hours a day. And it was 8 until 10 or 10:30. I would stop Lyft driving. And I would eat food and then I would start Lyft driving. And I would Lyft drive overnight. I would Lyft drive from 10:30 to at the least, like if I was dog tired, passing out, I would stop driving at 4:30. Y'all listen, I want y'all to hear this. There were over 40, 50 nights where I was so far away, because when you Lyft driving, you just go on wherever. You don't really control where you drive to. There were so many times I was an hour and a half away and I was falling asleep behind the wheel. There's countless times, like literally, I'm not exaggerating, over 50 times, I pulled my car up somewhere, locked the doors, and just went to sleep. And just trusted God that nobody was going to rob me, attack me, none of that stuff. Times I was in like back alleys, I was dog tired, I couldn't drive, I was going to wreck. And I just went to sleep wherever. I would try to find a gas station to have some light for some protection. And this was my life. And I would wake up at like 4:30, 5:30, and I would Lyft drive for a couple more hours. And I would try to Lyft drive on my way home. And that was my life for hella long. All while I was jumping on social media, talking about God, talking about relationships, all that stuff. That was my life that no one really knew. And so anyway, I continued that while I was in Careers, because I had to do what I had to do. So I finished Careers. Now, Careers sets you up. They train you. They coach you. They help with your resume. They help you interview. They train you when it comes to interviewing. They apply to companies for you with their system. But I didn't rely on them. A Careers would apply to about 10 companies. They applied to about 10 companies a day for me. I would apply to 20 companies a day. I would be on LinkedIn and I would use LinkedIn's Easy Apply to apply to 20 companies a day at a minimum. I'm not capping. I was like, I have to get out of this situation. And I was desperate. I said, I have to get out of this situation. I'm not gonna look back at 35, at 40, and be one of those broke men that y'all know, those men that are really smart. They're 45 years old, they're 50 years old, they're really head knowledge, but they're broke. And it's like, dang, so many people would tell me how smart I was all the time. And at some point that started annoying me. I was like, if I'm so smart, why haven't I figured out a way to make money? It started annoying me after a while. But I knew that it was God using people prophetically to speak to me that, yo, there's more to you, that you're smart, that God has something for you, all of that good stuff. So anyway, I just had grit because I knew I had to get it, like straight up. And so I finished Careerist, and I was applying to 20 companies a day. Careerist would apply to 10 companies a day for me with their system. I was having so many interviews, I could barely keep up with them. And because of that, because I wasn't keeping up with them, because I didn't have a structure, I didn't have a Google spreadsheet with information with each of the companies. Half the time, companies, I was being woken up with a recruiter being like, hey, Cyrus, are you ready for the interview that we scheduled? And I had never scheduled nothing with them. Careers scheduled it, but the recruiters never knew. So I would be like getting up like, yeah, not even knowing the recruiter I'm talking to, not knowing the company, not knowing nothing. So, of course, I definitely wasn't going to get those jobs because I was so ill prepared. So it took about a month of that before I was like, Playboy, Cyrus, you have to get structure because you're playing with yourself right now. Because there were some people who did Careers where it took them 8 months, 9 months to get into tech. There were other people who did Careers that broke into tech in 3 months. I was like, I'm about to be one of them 3-month people. So let that be that. Like, let that be clear. Careers does everything. CourseCareers, if you do CourseCareers, you're going to get a job in tech. Like, I'm going to just say that straight up. Because CourseCareers, they have relationships with tech companies that are guaranteeing to hire like 1,000 of their students this year, like, or their graduates this year. But with Careers, it was one of those things where a lot of it is determined on the work that you put in, how you put in that work, but also God. Like, at the end of the day, God still rules and reigns. God is sovereign at the end of the day. But I got structure after my first month where I created a spreadsheet. I looked over every company that Careers applied to for me. If those companies confirmed that they wanted to do an interview, I put that information in the spreadsheet. I put some basic information about each company, the recruiter I was going to talk to, all of that in the spreadsheet. And the same thing I did that when I applied for LinkedIn or applied from companies on LinkedIn, whenever they responded and said, hey, yeah, we'd love to do an interview with you, 80% of companies said, no, we're not interested. Let that be clear. Legit, there were like 300, 400 companies that kept saying like, oh, thank you for applying. But unfortunately, I had too many of them emails. I didn't even care because I was like, I don't care. I'm about to get up in here. One of y'all gonna let me in the door. And so that's where my head was at. And so, and Careers, of course, they were coaching me the whole time. I had a mentor with Careers that they give people mentors. And the coach was like, hey, it's only a matter of time. Just keep your head up. I was like, you ain't got to tell me to keep my head up because I'm going to do this. Like, I'm going to get into tech. And so after having some structure, it caused me to be more professional during the interviews. It caused me to follow the flow that Careers gave me during those interviews. Bada boom, bada bang. I started getting companies offering me offer letters. Companies will offer me, one company offered me $50,000. I was like, get out my face with that. Even though that would have been more money salary wise than I ever would have gotten. Another company started offering me $60,000. I was like, I almost want to take it. Then $70,000. The company started offering me $100,000, but they were like, hey, you'll have to move to New York. You'll have to move to Miami. I was like, and I was thinking I was making a dumb decision. And it could have been a dumb decision. I want to be clear about that. I don't want to sell any pipe dream about how you got to make sure that, praise the Lord. I just got some money. Woo! I just got some money. Praise God. Anyway, and I'm going to explain that in a minute. So anyway, I So I had a few companies sending offer letters. It came down between my company that I just put a 2 weeks notice in with 2 days ago. So I'm about to leave my company, but it came down between the company I'm at now, which is Dialpad, and a couple other companies. I went with Dialpad, the company that I'm at now, because both of them were offering the same amount of money. Both of them were offering $90,000 OTE, or on target earnings, basically. But I wanted to be a Dialpad because it just felt fresh to me. Like, it felt really fresh, really cool. I liked their technology. I was like, oh, this will actually be pretty fun. They were super, super cool. So anyway, I got on at Dialpad. Now, boom, I'm in tech. I'm in tech now. I'm all happy. I kept it to myself for like a solid. I'm one of those people, when I'm excited about something, it's hard for me to keep it to myself. I'm in a relationship and I'm dating a girl and I love a girl. Oh, it's so hard for me to not like tell everybody about her and be like, man, she's so incredible. She's this, she that, you know, all of that good stuff. What's that part on Aladdin when he was talking about Princess Jasmine? He was like, oh, her hair is just this and this is just that and all of that stuff. And I think he ended up falling on the carpet or something like that. But anyway, same way when it comes to God, same way when it comes to being in tech. So after a while, I was like, yo, this is fire. I was like, I'm making how much money? And I work from home, literally where I was like, I work from home. Like, yo, this messed my head up. Like, it felt surreal that I made it. I was like, I don't have to Lyft drive no more. I'm going to tell y'all, I was so weird. I kept Lyft driving for a while. I kept Lyft driving for a couple months because it just was so embedded in me. Like, it just didn't feel real. So on the weekends, I would still be Lyft driving for extra money because I was just like, I got to get more money. Then eventually I was like, bro, no, this is real. Stop operating out of fear. This is real. You're in tech. Like, this is real. This money is real. This job is yours. This career is yours. So at that point, I got upset. I got mad because I have so many homeboys, friends, people that have been in tech. They've been in tech for a minute. And I was like, why did I literally hit a few of them up like, bro, why you never told me about this? And they were like, oh, you like it, right? It's dope. I'm like, yeah, nigga, it's dope. Why didn't you tell me about this? Like, you see me out here Lyft driving, doing this, doing that. Like, and I started talking to people like, why are people not talking about this that much? And it was just something where people were like, I mean, you know, I just figured people going to do their own thing. And I was like, nah, man, there are too many people of all ethnicities, both genders. Don't nobody get upset. There's more than two genders. But it's like, yo, people need to know about this. But especially our community, especially the Black and brown community, especially women. Like, it's like, yo, people need to know about this. So I was like, yo, I'm gonna start talking about this, and I decided, because especially the relationship content stuff was getting a little out of hand. I was like, I'm not Kevin Samuels. I don't know how he dealt with all the heat and backlash. I'm a person, I care for the most part what people think about me. I do care what people think about me. I care about being represented well. I don't like people misunderstanding me, misquoting me, all of that. And I like people knowing that I love people, and that's a flaw on my part. That's a straight up flaw on my part. And so it's not as bad as it used to be, but yeah, I ain't one of them dudes that could just tell people, like, just be raw and rude to people. I care about my words coming off loving, even if they might hurt somebody. I'm gonna tell the truth, but I'm gonna do my best to make sure they come off loving. Unless somebody gets slick in the comments and I gotta check you, because I'll be checking folk in the comments. I don't play that. Anyway, so I'm like, yo, I gotta tell people about this. So I hit up Careerers, and I was like, yo, okay, I have a large social media following. And it feels weird saying that because I don't feel like I have a large following because I have so many friends that have way larger followings than me. But anyway, I hit Careerers stuff, and I was on some mafia stuff. I was like, hey, look, I got a lot of followers. I'm about to tell them about y'all. Y'all hook them up with a little discount, little discount, you know, a little something. And Careerers was like, yeah, we could give people a discount, but we already have they have a referral program already. They were like, yeah, we have a referral program. Boom, 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 like the referral program. And you can go on their site and look at it, but basically the referral program is set up to where if you refer a person, I think they get like $100 off or $150 off. Now, you do have to be a graduate of theirs to refer people. But they were like, yeah, if you're a former student, you can refer people. They'll get $100 off. And then they told me, they said, yeah, and also you'll get they're like, you'll get like $200 or something like that. I was like, whoa, what? I was like, wait, so not only do y'all give people discounts, but if I tell people about y'all will give, like, I get some money too. And they're like, yeah, we'll pay you. Like, if you get somebody in, we'll pay you. And I was like, okay, bet. So, my bad. Actually, it starts off at, I think, $100. Then it goes up and it tops off at $250. If you get a certain amount of people in, it'll kind of top off at that. So I asked them, can they give my followers a larger discount? I'm like, no. I said, if that's normal, I said, I have a pretty large following. I said, can y'all give people a little bit more off, like just something extra? They were like, nah, you get what you get. I was like, okay, cool. So I decided to pull, and I say this respectfully, I decided to pull a mafia move where I was like, okay, I'm going to promote them for a few months. I said, they're going to get so many people that are going to sign up. Then I'm going to go to them and basically say, hey, y'all got a lot of people getting signed up through me. Are y'all going to offer my followers a larger discount? If not, then I'm going to probably find out about it. I'm going to learn about other tech boot camps that I trust and then start mentioning those to people instead. I didn't even have to do that. Y'all want to see how God works? And really it's those who signed up. The first week, it only took 1 week or 2 weeks. Careers system actually crashed because so many people signed up. Their system wasn't used to that many people, like that much traffic. So it crashed their system. And they were like, yo, where do all these influx of people come from? And then they realized that the people came from me talking about Careers. So when that happened, Careers spun the block, hit me up. So I didn't even have to wait a few months. It literally took like 2 weeks. Careers hit me up. And now it was their marketing team who hit me up. And they were like, yo, they said, hey, we want to work something out with you. They were like, yo, we want to offer you a larger referral kickback. They were like, bump the 200 up to 250. They were like, yo, we want to offer you, they're like, we want to offer you 350 instead. And they were like that. And they mentioned some other stuff that I really can't remember. So I asked them, I said, okay, that's cool, but that's not what I asked. I said, I'll take y'all giving me more money. I was like, but I asked for a larger discount for my followers. And also I told them, I said, I need to know every time y'all have a sale going on, because they know when they have sales going on. Anybody who knows, they would, they do sales sometimes where they'll do 20% off, 40% off, like crazy huge discounts. So I said, y'all need to tell me every month when y'all have discounts so I can tell my followers so they can get the discount. And I told Careerists also, when you give them a discount, they also need to get my $150 off on top of that discount. And they respected that. They were like, we will do that. I'm about to get into some of these questions. Some people sent these questions in already. I'm about to get to them in a moment. So Careers, basically, I was like, I want to know when y'all have discounts so I can tell people about the discounts. And I want people to get a larger discount when they use my link. And that discount they can use discounts, like pair them together to get more off. And they said, yeah. So I was like, bet, let's run it. So started doing that. And I was very surprised. I was like, oh, wow, like this is really dope. So I was making about $90K from my job. And the referral kickbacks from Careerists. And there's purpose in me telling y'all this too. This isn't just me being transparent. This is me helping people's helping the wheels start spinning as to things you can do to help people, but also where it can like help you financially. So Careers is giving kickbacks, all that stuff. I'm getting referrals. People are doing Careers. And then a couple of my followers, they tell me about a tech boot camp that I thought was cap. I was like, no, that's too good to be true, which is CourseCareers. Where CourseCareers is the tech sales boot camp, where they only do tech sales. So Careers does a few different things like manual QA, sales engineering, systems engineering, QA automation, and tech sales. CourseCareers only does tech sales. Careerists is about $3,500 to $4,000. I think they might have changed their pricing. CourseCareers is only, y'all listen to this, it's only $500. That's it. It's $500. And the course is self-paced, so you could finish the course in as short as 4 weeks. And you do it from home. It's all virtual on your computer, all of that. After you finish it, if you don't get a job right away in tech, and a lot of their students have gotten hired on week 3. Like some of their students get hired before they even finish the program. But if you don't get a job right away, they put you in a remote paid internship program that pays up to $20 an hour. I think it's 16 to 21 an hour or something like that. And literally, so even if you're broke, this is for everybody. If you're broke, if you do not have a job, if you have nothing, man, when you finish CourseCareers, you could legit be making $41,000, $42,000 working from home while you're still waiting to get your job in tech. So this is what made me think CourseCareers was capped, because I did the math. I said, there's no way. How could it cost $500? But then they're going to pay you, if they put you in an internship, they're basically going to pay you that money back, your first paycheck. That makes no sense. How do they make money? Because again, reading them books, I think about business model. That doesn't make sense. That makes no sense. They'll be in the red. I did some research on the site, and then I realized it clicked. I said, oh, they don't make their money from that $500. They're a staffing company as well. So they're a tech staffing company. So they're a bit of a hybrid. They train you to do tech sales, but they also connect you with companies that'll hire you and pay you. I think their minimum is like $60,000 or $65,000. And of course, it's only up from there. And that's it. You don't owe them no money. You don't have to pay nothing back. So I was like, what? When I realized they were legit, hit them up. The CEO responded. He was like, yo, I actually stay in Georgia. He only lives, I haven't been to his house, but he lives in Kennesaw. I think he lives about 25 minutes away from me. So we met up at the Braves Stadium at one of the bars, had a couple drinks, talked. I got to understand his heart, his mindset, everything. I said, yo, this is crazy. I was like, yo, so Careers is fire. But for people who don't have, like you ain't got a bunch of money and you're not, and you want to, it's to almost be like fully guaranteed that it's a layup for you to get in tech. Tech sales through CourseCareers is like super dope. So I started promoting CourseCareers. I'm gonna be crazy transparent with y'all. At the time, there was another tech sales bootcamp that I was promoting, and they cost. They're completely free. On the front end, you get in for free, you do everything for free, but when you finish, it ends up costing. They do like a income shared agreement, where it's basically almost like college. Like they take money out of your paychecks for the next like 4 years, and it would eventually be about $30,000 that they would take out after 4 years. Now you'd be in tech. A lot of people are in tech that they did that. They did the income shared agreement. When I found out about CourseCareers, I want y'all to hear this. I started promoting CourseCareers. So the first one was called Pre-Hired. Now I want to tell y'all how big the referral kickback was for me with Pre-Hired. The referral kickback with Pre-Hired was $1,500 a person who signed up. All people had to do was sign up and finish the course, which only took, I think, 6 weeks. So, Careers, again, they're doing $350 kickback. Pre-Hired doing $1,500 a person. So I'm like, this is crazy. But I find out about CourseCareers, which is is also a tech sales bootcamp like Pre-Hired. The kickback from CourseCareers, was only $200. And I made a decision. It wasn't the wisest financial decision, but I was like, am I going to keep telling people about Pre-Hired, which, it's free up front, but it's going to cost them $30,000 on the back end, but I'm going to get $1,500 each person. I was like, or am I really going to be about what I said I'm about, helping people get into tech, and I'm not doing this for the money, and I'm going to tell them about this better opportunity like CourseCareers, which people are going to only have to pay $500 and that's it. And instead of getting $1,500, I'm only going to get $200. And I made I've heard about SV Academy. I made the decision to switch over to talking about CourseCareers because, I'm gonna miss out on $1,500 for each person that would sign up. But it's like, God, dog, like $500 to get into a tech boot camp, and CourseCareers also, really, if you use my promo code, it's only $450. It's like, no, I have to tell people about CourseCareers. So I stopped talking about Pre-Hired. I prayed about it. I was like, Lord. So I let pre-hire go, and I'm only going to talk about CourseCareers because one, this is a faster and better way for people to get into tech, and two, it's much more affordable, and you're not going to be charged $30,000 on the back end for doing it. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna start talking about CourseCareers. So I started doing that, and so I'm in tech now. At this point, I'm really killing it at my company. So I'm about to get some tips really quickly. So I'm gonna finish off everything with the tech boot camp. So I'm doing the tech boot camps. So referral fee wise. So when I say like, hey, I'm making $250,000, whatever. When I was recently saying I was making $205,000, now I'm at about $250,000. When I was at $205,000, the referrals, I was making more money from the referrals than I was making from my job. So my job, I was making $90K. My company offered, they said they were going to give me a pay bump to $120,000, but that wasn't, like, respectfully, that wasn't enough for me. I was like, man, like I want more. Like that's not enough. So I was making more money from referrals than from my job. And so I was like, okay, I want to scale this further because a lot of companies try to hire me. Like there are a crap ton of companies that hit me up trying to hire me. And like most of the companies, when I tell them no, or I've interviewed with a couple and they'll offer me like 100,000, 80,000. And I'm like, man, nah, man, I'm trying to get away from that. I'm trying to make much more now. Most of the companies will say, hey, if you know someone else who's done the boot camp that you did, or you feel is educated or sharp, send them our way. We'll interview them. If we hire them, we'll give you a referral fee payment, and we'll give them a bonus, a starting bonus or a signing bonus. So when I found this out, I'm like, yo, this is crazy. So I'm giving y'all gems right now. I'm telling you things you can do because I'm talking about CourseCareers and careers, not just so y'all can be educated on how to break into tech, but so when y'all get in tech, y'all can put y'all people on. And when y'all put y'all people on, you'll get a referral kickback too. So, because that's what it's about. Because you don't want to waste a lot of your life trying to help people and you're going broke and exhausting your own life and resources. So that's why I'm trying to tell people, yo, you break into tech, you talk to these tech boot camps, you get a whole referral fee, all that stuff. Now, do not tell nobody that I said I'm getting $350 because most of them, depending on your following size and stuff, they might not offer you $350. They might just offer you, what's that? Is that a spider? I don't know what that was. They might just offer you like $200 or $250. But it's like, man, get in tech, help other people that look like you because it don't matter. Like, I'm not going to be able to reach everybody. So when you break into tech, do the same thing that I'm doing. Do it for your family, your friends, help your people, like straight up. Anyway, so I'm making from careers and CourseCareers, I'm like, God dog, like it's like every week, like $2,000 to $3,500 hitting my account every week from the boot camps paying me for referrals. I'm like, God dog, I'm making more money from these tech boot camps than I'm making from my company. This is crazy. Now, mind you, business structure, you have to structure it as a business or you will get annihilated in taxes. So I was like, okay, yeah, I'm making all this money, but really it's not all mine because it has to be set up and structured a certain way for taxes. So anyway, but now that I know that companies will now that I know I can refer people to these tech companies that want to hire me, and y'all might not know, I've been building my brand on LinkedIn. I have a totally different brand I've been building on LinkedIn to where a lot of tech companies are following me. And I'm doing that so I can eventually start recommending my people, my community, my tribe to these companies after y'all do tech boot camps to help y'all get hired faster. Now, I don't have a lot of time to do that because between my job, between, working out, because, man, it ain't easy keeping this up. No, I'm just playing. But between working out and everything else, living life, it's really hard trying to tell people about tech boot camps and also talk to all these different tech companies to try to get y'all in at these companies. So that's when I realized, okay, I need to structure everything I'm doing into like a real business, but I need to make more money from my company so I can start paying. So y'all are going to see pretty soon, I'm going to put out some type of ad or whatever to get I'm going to be looking for 1 or 2 paid interns. We're going to be paying people to work part-time to help scale what we're doing, particularly not just to help people get in tech boot camps with discounts, but also to help people get connected with tech companies so y'all can get hired. So I'm kind of giving y'all a whole bunch of juice and gems about what I plan on doing, what I want this to grow into. One of my homeboys is about to break into tech. He did Careerist. He's on his final round interview with a company. I'm pretty sure they're about to hire him, and he's probably going to be we're probably going to be running the whole podcast YouTube show together, where we're going to be educating y'all, constantly giving tips and gems on how to get in tech, how to maneuver, how to move, giving discounts, setting stuff up. So anyway, so my company offered me they offered me to pay me about $20,000, $30,000 more. But they said, yeah, we're going to pay you that much more starting in October. I was like, okay, yeah, you said you're about to apply for 4 years of college. Yeah, bro, please don't do that. Please don't do that. Again, college is dope depending on what it is you're doing, but do not do college if you're trying to get in tech. Like, it's not necessary. There are benefits to it, but it's not necessary. Anyway, so I'm like, dang, I'm making about like $12,000 a month from these referrals for these tech boot camps, and from my job, because of the way taxes and stuff work, them take taxes out your money. I'm like, dang, I'm only getting like, $7,000 from my job every month. And so I was like, I really want to scale this further. So I was like, I need a raise. So now this pivots. Now we're going to talk about, so I talked about the tech bootcamp stuff. Now we're going to pivot about what you need to do in tech to scale. What you need to do in tech to scale. Because let's be real. Depending on like how large your individual following is, stuff like that, it's important for you to tell people about tech. It's important for you to, get a referral, kickback, all of that. But most people are not going to be getting from these tech boot camps $10,000, $12,000 a month for telling people about tech. A lot of that is based on your following size, how you market, all that stuff. So let's be clear. Make the main thing you getting in tech and you scaling, because this is a blueprint anyone can do. It does not matter your following size, none of that stuff. So I got in my company. And of course, the obvious is obvious. I was making sure I was doing my job. I was making sure that I was studying. I was being present, all of that good stuff. But I also made a couple different moves. I talked to different people in tech. Y'all see me go live a few times with people that are in tech. And they gave me gems and tips on things to do. And I'm going to give these gems and tips to y'all. And again, I'm not going to, this live is not going to stay up. So please make sure that y'all listening, like straight up. Please make sure y'all listening. So one thing, it's important, obviously, to kill it at your job, to kill it. So even though I was new, I decided I was going to figure out, okay, how can I kill it at my company in ways that'll make me stand out? And so I knew I wasn't going to kill it knowledge-wise, because I was like, I'm one of the newest people at my company. Even people that are newer than me have gone to college to be engineers. So they understand more about being an engineer than I do. And they're more student. They're better studiers than I am. They're smarter than I am. So I figured out, and I'm not going to tell y'all what I did, because this isn't something everyone can do. But basically, I figured out what was unique about me in my specific job as a sales engineer that I could leverage to cause me to be more successful at my job in my company. Now, again, that's a lot of personality thing. That's a lot about how I move and maneuver. I can't really give you any tips. I can't give everyone a tip on this other than just tell you, lean on your strengths and be unique at your company. So I leaned on my strengths, and it caused me to stand out at my company, which that's good. The second thing was that I started using LinkedIn. If you do not have a LinkedIn, listen, y'all, create a LinkedIn, start connecting with people on LinkedIn, start posting content. Eventually, especially when you break into tech, start posting content on LinkedIn. Careerists and CourseCareers will help you set up your LinkedIn and help you set things up and scale it. But anyway, I started posting content on my LinkedIn. A lot of the reels y'all see me posting on Instagram, I repurposed the reel. I changed the caption on the picture or on the video, and I make it something about my job in tech. I don't promote tech boot camps on LinkedIn because I would look goofy, because most people on LinkedIn, they all are already in tech. So instead, I make content about my job on LinkedIn. I post it. LinkedIn is a boring place. Now, it's not boring for real, but LinkedIn is not TikTok. It's not Instagram. And what I mean by that is how on TikTok and Instagram, all of us are funny. All of us make reels. We're all funny. Everybody's creative. We're all cool on here. LinkedIn is almost like Facebook, where it's like, especially LinkedIn, because LinkedIn is so corporate. Again, there's a lot of cool stuff on LinkedIn, but because LinkedIn is so corporate, when you post unique content like reels, TikTok videos, and it's business related, it's your job related on LinkedIn, it's such a breath of fresh air for these companies and recruiters that are on LinkedIn. People share your content like crazy. And when they share your content, there's no better place than for your content to be shared than on a platform where there are companies that all are offering $150,000 for a new hire, and they see your video come across their page and they're like, oh my God, this is hilarious. Oh my God. According to this person's caption and their bio and everything else, they're in the market for what I'm hiring for. Y'all, when I didn't even know this. Nobody told me this part. When I started posting like TikTok content, all that on LinkedIn, my DMs on LinkedIn blew up, and they've been blowing up. I don't even have time to check them messages no more. Companies offering money left and right. Like I said before, man, I be feeling like a scripper when I'm on LinkedIn, because companies they be throwing that money. They be like, hey, what you want? What you want? How much money you want? And I be like, man, I don't even know. But anyway, so I started doing that, which was dope. My homegirl, who I'm gonna bring her back on, Isabel, where we went live and talked. She's a recruiter she's a recruiter at Shopify. She gave me tips on how to structure my LinkedIn. I'm gonna post that video. I'm gonna post that video on Instagram so y'all can get the gems of how she said to structure your LinkedIn. When I restructured my LinkedIn, it causes, and I'm not going to go too in depth as to how this is, but when you have your LinkedIn and your everything structured a certain way, more tech companies find you. Like, so when I restructured my content on LinkedIn, more tech companies were finding me. So between that and I mean restructured even from what Careers and CourseCareers and Careers gave me a good foundation of how it should be. They give a really good foundation for you to, again, break into tech. But I learned some gems to help scale to where companies started bidding over me, basically, and hitting me up like, hey, like, you know, we want to hire you, this, that, and the third. You never interview better than when you don't need a job. I'm going to tell you that much. When you're already in tech, you're already making six figures, and you, like, at that point, you interviewing a company. I would literally be in interviews dressed just like this. Interviewing companies, chilling, rocking in my chair, company offering $160,000, $140,000, and I'm like, I'm not stressed. I'm literally totally cool. I'm not pressed if you don't hire me. If anything, I'm trying to figure out if I want to be at your company. Yeah, y'all offering big money, but whatever. My company's gonna go and give me an extra promotion sometime soon anyway. Whatever. It's 10 other companies behind you waiting to hire me. You know, stuff like that. And so, you know, options. So when I restructured and posting unique content to LinkedIn, it caused me to it caused more people to notice me that have hiring power. So that's when my company noticed it. And that's when my company started having conversations about like expediting them, like paying me a little bit more sooner. But they were talking about paying me not like just a little bit more, like sooner. They're like, yeah, we still have to wait until October to really pay you a lot more. And I was like, man, I'm not trying to wait for that. So I started interviewing with a few companies. All these companies are reaching out to me. And it came down. One company was offering me $165,000. The other one was offering $145,000. Plus a bonus, a sign-on bonus for a $11,000 sign-on bonus. So I interviewed with both, and because of that, man, the interviews were so like tiring because of course I have my job and my company just bought some new technology. So I have to learn this new technology and how to demo it for customers on virtual meetings. And so between that, studying these other two companies, studying their software and technology as I'm preparing to interview with them, posting content on LinkedIn, you know, trying to stay sexy out here, going to the gym, all that good stuff. I'm like, man, I ain't got no time for nothing. So I interviewed poorly with both companies. I'm gonna tell you straight up, I did a poor job, I did a trash job interviewing with both companies. I mean, in my opinion, it was trash. So the one company that was offering me $165K, that was literally the final interview. They turned me down. They were like, man, we know you could do better, but we just feel like, you just weren't able to perform at your max. And I was like, yeah, I was gonna make excuses. They turned me down. The other one was like, yeah, you didn't do very well, but we know that you're sharp. We know you know your stuff. So we're going to send you an offer letter. They sent the offer letter. The offer letter was for $135K, and the bonus, that 11,000 bonus, was wrapped up into that $135K. So it was really like they were just giving me more of my money on the front end. So I wasn't really having a bonus, and it was only $135K. So when I realized that, I straight up told the company respectfully, even though I was only getting $90K at my company, I told them straight up, I said, hey, I must have misread or misunderstood how much y'all were offering me. I said, I'm good. I said, I'll just stay at my company. Now, I want this to be understood. I was still only making $90,000 in my company. My company was offering me a little bit more money, but I was like, nah, I'm gonna just wait till y'all give me like a real, like an actual, like real, like raise, like $30,000, $40,000 raise. This company was offering me $45,000 more than what I currently make. And I was still like, no. The reason I was like, no, is because you have to understand, and this gets into scaling when you jump from one tech company to the next. There are a lot of people that'll jump one tech company to the next for $20,000. Unless you just, like, that's just not worth it. It's not worth it at tech companies. And I know to some people, like a year ago, I would have been like, bro, that's goofy. $20,000 more, I'd do anything for $20,000 more. When you're making $100,000, $110,000, $120,000, and you know your company, you know their technology, you know your job. Again, at these companies, they give you a 3-month ramp up for you to learn their technology and learn the job, because it usually takes a lot of studying and a lot of learning their technology. When you learn your company technology, $20,000 to go to another company, learn their technology, learn their culture, even though, again, I would still be working from home, it just, to me, I'm just like, it's not worth it. Like, well, okay, $45,000 more. Now, mind you, that was enough for me to leave my company. Realistically, it was. It was just, I knew I could get more. So I told the company no. I said, respectfully, I'm going to have to turn it down. Thank you. Actually, I accepted it at first, but then I slept on it. And the next day, it was very tacky of me. The next day, I said, yo, this is very unprofessional, but I've had some time to think about it. That's just not enough. And so y'all should go with another candidate. They ended up hitting me up. Now, mind you, I bombed the interview. I did a terrible job at the interview. They hit me up and they said, hey, what will it take? Like, okay, what do you want more than the 45K? I told them, I said, well, I want $145,000 and that bonus to be extra. And they were like, if we can do that, you'll accept our offer letter. I said, yeah, if y'all can do that. They said, yeah. They sent the offer letter over. I signed it. It's as good as money. They've already ordered my Mac computer, so I ain't going to have this Dell computer no more. My Mac is going to be here sometime soon. They sending me a brand new monitor, all of that. So I'm already in with that company. So that's $155,000 plus the sign-on bonus, which is going to be split up over 3 months. So it's really not 11,000. It's like 11,300. It's something weird. It's like $3,750 I'm going to get every single month for 3 months. So that's basically where I'm at. So from one company, it's $155K plus like a roughly $10,000 bonus, give a little bit more. And then in promoting tech boot camps, helping people break into tech with discounts, the tech boot camps are paying me a referral kickback that comes out to, on a low month, it's been like $8,000. Some months it's up to $12,000 a month. So roughly, when you do the math, it's over $250,000. I'm bringing in more than $250,000 right now. It's really like, if we're projecting that this will continue, I'm really at about 270, 280K. But that's 280K gross. And who knows, it might go down to where some months it'll be 6,000, 7,000, 5,000, who knows. So realistically, I feel more comfortable with saying $250,000 instead of saying like 280,000, whatever. But these are things anyone can do. Now again, next thing to do to scale. So I mentioned your LinkedIn. I mentioned LinkedIn, how you can adjust and address your LinkedIn. The last point, this is the real money maker. Most people don't tell you about this. I didn't know about this. The company that I'm transitioning over to, they didn't find me on LinkedIn. I went to a tech event, a tech gathering. Tech events are money. When you do a tech boot camp, after you finish that boot camp, apply, go through the whole rigmarole that they set you up with. But look up tech companies. I'm not tech companies, tech events. I'm going to start posting local tech events or tech events in Georgia. I'm going to start posting them because every time I've gone to I've only gone to tech events since I've been in tech. So I haven't needed a job. I've not gone to tech events to network. I have not gone to events looking for a job. I go to events because it's an open bar. The drinks are free. They got like good food. And you're networking, you're meeting people. It's a party, like it's like a club. Like it's like if you're an AKA, or if you're a Greek, or if you're a Marine, or if you're a part of some club. It's like, oh, it's a tech event. I'm gonna go meet some people in tech. Have a bunch of drinks, eat some good food, mix and mingle, all of that. When you go to these companies, listen, or you go to these tech events, you literally all you have to do is a tech boot camp. These tech events, these companies are vultures. They are like on you. Like they are on you like hard. Like, because, and I don't want to exaggerate too much, but listen, at these tech events, these companies are looking to hire. These events aren't like super corporate in structure. It's a party. Like there are drinks, they're mixing and mingling, there's music playing. At these events, it's more about if they like you, just your personality. So when you do a tech boot camp and you go to any tech events and stuff, these gatherings, and you're mixing and mingling, let your personality flare, dress nice, all of that. Don't dress too corporate, dress a little, dressy casual, whatever, or dress down. Like when I've gone, I literally wore this crazy. Literally the outfit I have on right now is what I was wearing when I went to my first tech event ever, my first tech gathering. It was only like 50 people there, and mixing it. Now listen, y'all, I'm gonna tell you how I went. I was at this tech event, and I was really there supporting a couple friends of mine who did careers. So I was really there as support, all of that stuff. I'm drinking, I'm talking to people, I'm just hanging out. I really don't care. I'm talking to this woman, this middle-aged, this older white woman. Super cool. She ain't older, but middle-aged, whatever. I just had to throw that out there so ain't nobody think I was trying to shoot my shot at her. But then again, I guess you could still shoot your shot at a middle-aged white woman. So let me not play. But I'm talking to her, talking to different people. We're having drinks, we're laughing. We talk nothing about what I do. We talk nothing about what I know. We talk nothing about anything. Like we're literally just talking, like just shooting the breeze, talking about whatever, laughing, making jokes, drinking our drinks. And then she literally says like, "Wow, you are so much fun." She's like, "I would love to have you at my company." She was like, "What would it take to bring you at my company?" And she was like, wait. First, are you looking for a job? And I was like, "Well, no, I have a job." And she was like, "Why are you at this tech gathering if you have a job already?" And I was like, "I'm here for the drinks and the networking and stuff." And she was like, "Do you like your job?" I said, "I love my job. I love my company." She was like, "What do you do?" I told her I'm a sales engineer. She didn't even know what that was. She was like, "I don't know what that is." Listen, y'all listen to this next part. You say, "How did I feel as a black man in that space?" Listen, I don't think there's any space that black people or people of color in general can flourish in better than the tech space. Because these companies really want to have, they care about diversity. And whether they care about diversity because it's a checkbox and it'll make them look good, some of them care about diversity because they really want to help people of color. Like they really do. A lot of them do. Like my managers at my company that I'm leaving, I told them that I'm leaving because this company is going to offer me more money. And I said, I need that more money they're going to offer so I can use that money to help promote tech boot camps further from my communities to help more people of color get into tech. and my white management staff, they've known I've been doing this. They've been encouraging me to do it. They're going to, even though I'm leaving the company, they're eventually going to come on as guests. They love it, and they sincerely love it. They're like, Cyrus, you are changing the world. They were like, they say you're changing America. They said because when the black, and these are like white people talking. They said because when black people start doing better financially, there's so much more your community will be able to do in terms of being able to live in nicer areas and it lessening things like police brutality. Y'all having a larger voice because your group economics will be higher. Like they talk about these things. To take it a step further, and this is a beeline, and we're going to get back on topic. To take it a step further, many tech companies like mine and many others, even the one I'm transitioning over to, they celebrate people of color so much. I think Wednesday, either Wednesday or Thursday, Tuesday, Wednesday or Thursday, they literally block out an hour for people, like not just people of color, but for everybody in the company who's, whether you're a person of color or you're an advocate, an ally, all that terminology, you get an hour off from work, like aside from your break. So you can have a 1 hour break, and then on like Tuesdays, Thursdays, it's a 1 hour break. During this break, you can literally just take a break and do whatever. Or what they encourage is that it's like a meeting for people of color to talk at the company and like virtually and talk about, okay, what are some things we think should change at the company? Okay, what are some things that's coming down the pipeline that will help our community a lot more? Like all of that, even in terms of hiring, like the company, they really encourage you to try to get more people at the company that are people of color. And they pay referral fees. Like they give you a referral fee if you do that, all that good stuff. So I just want to kind of go in a little bit to let you know. So when I'm at tech events, I love it when I'm one of the few black people there. Like I'm almost like, what was Terrence, what's old dude's name? The swole dude on White Chicks. When he was like, what he say about Negroes? He was like, he said something about, did somebody, is this a Negro meeting or is this I can't even remember the line. Somebody put in the comments where he basically, because y'all know he was racist, even though he was a black dude, he didn't like black people in the movie White Chicks. And like he saw some black people somewhere and he was like, what these Negroes doing here? Yeah, Terry Crews. Like, I low-key be like that when I be at tech events. I'm lying. When I'm at tech events, I'm excited when I see black people. It makes me happy. But jokingly, like when I'm at tech events and I'm like one of the few black people there, I'm like, man, this is like, I know I'm gonna stand out and be unique because these companies want people of color. They want women, like straight up, just straight up. So I just want to put that out there for everybody. It's an all white party. Did someone tell y'all this is an all white party? Yo, that joke was so funny. Oh my gosh, I gotta watch that movie. Oh my gosh, Terry Crews is hilarious in that movie. Oh, y'all about to kill me. So anyway, no man, being a person of color, I don't care what nobody say. Like people, I've heard a couple people try to complain in tech. I'm like, man, I don't know if it's your company or what, but every company I talk to, I feel like it's a badge of honor to be a man of color. When I'm interviewing with these companies, when I'm moving, they don't make me feel weird. It's interesting. Like sometimes I almost forget I'm a black man. Like when I'm working, like I almost forget like the color of my skin, which is weird. It's the first time in my life I've ever at least sometimes don't feel the color of my skin while I'm working. Feel like I'm being looked at a certain way because of the color of my skin. Sometimes I feel like I'm being praised because of the color of my skin. But anyway, apart from that, so I'm talking to now this woman is the VP of sales. So get this in y'all's minds. This is why when you break into tech or when you break into tech or when you finish a boot camp, when you go to these tech networking events, these tech parties, all of that, you could be having drinks next to the CEO of a tech company. That's happened to me multiple times where I literally be talking to someone and they be the CEO of a tech company, like a multi-million-dollar tech company. So I'm talking to this woman. I don't know who she is. She's the VP of sales at her tech company, at the tech company I'm transitioning over to. Because these people have so much rank and power, listen to what she said to me. She said, I don't know what you do. I told her I'm a sales engineer. She was like, I'm not sure what that is. She was like, but listen. She's like, I want you at my company. She's like, how much money do you want? I told her how much I wanted. And she was like, okay, cool. She was like, well, we can find a position for you. She's like, we can find something for you where you can get paid that and you can do it. She was like, I mean, if you're down, she's like, I'll set you up with my team. You know, they'll do at least a couple like protocol interviews, all of that. And yeah, we'll bring you on. That's part of the reason why I told y'all I bombed the interview. It was like horrendous. I bombed the interview. They not only hired me, they also, the next day I declined their offer. And they were like, well, what will it take? I was like, $10,000 more. And they were like, bet, we'll do that. After I bombed the interview. Why was that able to happen? Because I was networking at tech events. And because the woman, literally, at first, they were saying no. I could tell because their communication with me was like, yeah, they literally said like, yeah, we were expecting more from that interview that we did. We were expecting more from your demo. They were like, it was disappointing. They literally told me that. Then a couple days later, they said, hey, Cyrus, surprise, we decided we're still going to hire you. I know why they did that. They did that because that woman I met at the networking event was like, I don't care how he did. I like him. Bring him on at the company. I want him here. And so that's the power of networking at events, like especially tech events. So I literally jumped from $90,000. And again, my company was going to give me a pay bump. They were going to give me like a quick pay bump to, I think like 110. And then they were talking about in October, maybe pushing me to 130 by October, which that would have been crazy. That would have been a $40,000 pay bump in 1 year because I started at my company October 4th. So that would have been a $40,000 pay bump. Instead, I've just got a $55,000 pay bump. Now, I start on March the 31st at this company. And what's even crazier, when I spoke with my management team and I told them I'm leaving and I put in my 2 weeks notice, they were so kind, so gracious, so loving. The management team, they said, Cyrus, if it doesn't work out at that company, they said, if it's not working, if you're not feeling it, they said, hit us up. You still have an opportunity here with us. Crazy. Like, it's wild. So that's my story. That's what happened. All that good stuff. That's how I broke into tech. That's how I went from literally like basically homeless, no car, no money, broke, bummy, staying with a girl that I was dating who eventually was like, bro, you a bum. I got to kick you out. That's basically what happened. Me staying in a My Little Pony bedroom, me realizing, okay, man, I got to change my thinking, having to read books, change my mindset, change my work ethic, all of that, getting some grit, some hustle about myself, Lyft driving, creating a plan as to how I was going to scale, break into tech to change my life, did that, and then when I turned around, it was like, I want to give back and help people. God blessed me and was like, okay, you can get referral kickbacks. The tech boot camps are like, yo, we'll pay you for telling people about us, because these tech boot camps are trying to market, and it's hard for them to market because there are so many sketchy tech boot camps that aren't legit, that the ones that are legit, like the ones I talk about, CourseCareers, and even a few others that are out there, they have a tough time proving their legitimacy to people. So that's why they love it that's why they'll pay you to refer people, because they know people will trust you. Like my followers, my people, y'all trust me more than y'all trust a random ad about a tech boot camp. Especially because y'all could probably spin a block and cuss me out if something don't go right or go well. And that's why I'm very picky and choosy about which tech boot camps I talk about. There are other tech boot camps that hit me up that are like, yo, can you tell your followers about us? And they're offering me even more money. And I'm like, no, man, because I'm still trying to figure out how legit y'all are. And it's going to cost my peoples way more money. Y'all are like, I'm trying to give people an opportunity, not put you in something where you're basically in college all over again, where you got to pay, $30,000, $20,000, $40,000, $50,000, to break into tech. So that's basically the whole gist of it. So now, man, praise God. At 155, I'm about to be at 155K salary, when I started this company, and 145K salary plus the sign-on bonus or the starting bonus. Yeah, and then the rest of it being from the referrals with Tech Bootcamp. So y'all can do all of these exact same things. The only thing that might be a little different depending on your following, you might not make as, like Tech Bootcamps might not pay you as much because you might not have as large a following, but it's definitely still enough that, I mean, shoot, even if you just got like a couple thousand followers and you're really like truly telling people about it, really pushing it, promoting it, man, you could easily make like an extra couple $1,000s a month on top of your tech salary. But again, if you move and maneuver, if you take the tips I gave on how to move and maneuver in tech, the tech industry, because again, I'm just starting. I'm not even at a year yet, and I'm at 145. If you count the bonus, 155K at the company that I'm at now. It's only up from here. And so it's only going to scale. Yes. So that's that. So that's the story. Thank y'all, man, for being patient. This story was hella long. Way longer. I was like, I'm gonna try to tell it in like 30-40 minutes, but I could have made it shorter, but I was like, man, I really want to like explain these pieces to y'all, so that way these things are understood. You say you got 60 followers, 1 loaf and a fish. Come through, Jesus. Hey, Jesus gonna do that miracle like with that that boy with the bread and the fish and stuff like that. He'll make Jesus make it do what it do. Now let's get to the questions. Y'all sent in some great questions. And I need to answer these questions for y'all. What the crap happened? That's weird. Okay, cool. All right, so we're going to get to the questions now. I see a few questions in the question box. First, I'm going to answer the questions that y'all sent in. I'm going to prioritize those questions. I'm going to stop no matter what. I'm going to stop at 11 o'clock. Again, for those that are tuning in, this live, I'm not going to keep this live up. Yeah, you know what? I'll put it on the Patreon. I need to close the Patreon down because I've not been posting content on the Patreon because I've been so busy between the tech companies and everything else. I'll post this on the Patreon. I'll leave this up on the Patreon for about a solid. I'll leave it up for a week. After that, I'll probably close the Patreon down. And then I'm going to shift to putting content on YouTube. And, I'm moving, when I move this summer, y'all know I've been like shopping around different high rises in Atlanta. And I really want y'all to see the life that I'm living. And I'm not like out here balling out or nothing. I'm doing little things here and there. I got my 2022 Benz. That I love it. It's amazing. I'm eating at nicer restaurants. I'm enjoying certain amenities. I've thought about getting some chains and being more dripped out. I might eventually do that. But right now I'm trying to focus on the important things. And the next step is when I move this summer to a nice high rise, I'm definitely going to make a lot of videos and content so y'all can really absorb like the growth in my life and what God is doing, because we're visual as people. And sometimes you need to see things. And even for myself, when I saw things, when I saw the money people were making, when I saw the cars they were driving, when I saw the places they lived, when I was Lyft driving and I would like pull up to people's like high-rise apartments, and I was like, what is this? Like, I had never seen stuff like that before. It made it had the wheels turning, where I was like, I gotta do something. I didn't know what it was, but I had to do something. No, I'm not gonna buy. I'm still gonna let my credit get a little bit higher. So I told y'all at the beginning of the live that my credit was at like a high 400s, low 500s. Now my credit is roughly around like a 650. And I'm super transparent. I know like people are always, oh, why you telling your business, whatever? Because other communities are much more open and transparent. Like for some strange reason, we try to hide like how well we're doing or how well we're not doing and what we're working on. It's like, man, we have to start to some degree working on being more transparent and vulnerable about where we're at, what we're working on, what we're doing, how we're getting there, so other people can learn from it, so other people can be inspired by it. At least that's my heart. You don't have to do that. If that's not your ministry, that's not your calling, that's cool. But that's my heart straight up. And so the high rise I'm moving to, I'm getting a 2-bedroom. One of the bedrooms, I'm going to put some money into it to trick it out into a really dope YouTube podcast room. And I'm going to, like I mentioned, I'm going to pay a person or two part-time to help scale it. I'm going to have different guests on that are in tech, people that can give you tips and gems on how to move and maneuver in tech. I'm going to bring on different tech bootcamp owners and stuff to let them talk about it. I'm going to do some cool stuff where and really it's going to be us that are going to do it, because at the end of the day, it's people tuning in, people being a part of it. But the things that we're going to do is I want to start eventually paying for people to get in tech boot camps. I want to actually start paying people's referral fees, or not referral fees, paying for people to get into some of these boot camps, especially like CourseCareers and stuff like that. I want to start doing things that I think will really give back and help people out. So anyway, to the questions, I will post this on the Patreon. For anybody who will want to watch the playback on the Patreon, same thing, click the link in my bio. And one of the links, you can go to the Patreon and you'll be able to view this video when after I upload it. But anyway, let's get to the questions. We're going to prioritize these questions y'all already sent in. And if we have time, again, I'm cutting off at 11 o'clock. If we have time, I'll get to other questions that I see popping up here in the question box. All right, cool. So let's go. All right, so first question, someone asked, I think this is the question. Someone asked, I think, do these tech boot camps require money up front? Do they require money up front? Yes, they do. Careerist is, depending on what sale or discount they have, Careerist is roughly about $3,500 to $4,000. It could be less. Like, again, if they have a special discount going on, and I'm going to start mentioning their discounts again starting next week. Because again, they tell me the discounts. I have such a tough time keeping up with everything. Y'all know life it's hard to keep up with everything, but I need to get back on top of that so I can help y'all get the discounts. So they're roughly $3,500. I have a discount. If you use the discount link in my bio, literally all you need to do is go to the link in my bio and click on the Careers button. That link attached to it is the $150 discount. So just click on the link, sign up. One of their recruiters are going to hit you up. Just tell them, hey, I use Cyrus referral link. I'm supposed to get $150 off. They'll say, yeah, we got you. We'll make sure you get $150 off. Boom, you'll be good. So CourseCareers is only $500 up front. With my promo, Cyrus50, same thing, go to the link in my bio, you'll see it, Cyrus50. You'll get $50 off, so it'll only be $450 instead of $500. Now, the reason why there's such a difference in pricing is because CourseCareers is only tech sales. Tech sales roles are, when you start off in tech sales, you'll start off as what's called a BDR, a SDR, something like that. You'll start off making, on a low end, depending on what offers you accept, you could start off with something like 55,000. Again, you'll be working remote, working from home. So if you really do the math, you'll be a little higher. But realistically, I think it's better to accept a role where maybe you're starting out at like 65, 70,000 as a tech sales. Now, it's not as sexy starting off, but it's much easier. It doesn't require as much critical thinking. You're not going to have to study as much. Like it's not as hard to do tech sales. It's just not. But also, you can still scale to make as much money as I'm making now. Most people, their second year in tech sales, they're at six figures or they're knocking on the door of six figures. And again, you're working remote, depending on the company you're at. But most companies at this point, you can work remote, especially tech companies. And then, after that, after you hit that six figures, the sky's the limit. There are people in tech sales that are making $250,000 just from tech sales, not even doing other stuff like what I'm doing. So you can scale. There's huge, big money. All right. So that's why CourseCareers is cheaper, is because they only do tech sales, but also they really make their money from tech companies that come and hire their graduates. And those tech companies pay CourseCareers like $1,500 to $3,000. So that's really how they make their money as a business. They're a school, but they're a business. Everything's a business. All right. So, whereas Careerist has other offers, other opportunities outside of tech sales, where up front you usually will make more. So most sales engineers starting out won't start out at $50,000, $60,000. Most sales engineers will start out where I started out at, $80,000 to $90,000, somewhere in there. Sometimes you'll start out at $100,000, like my homeboy E-Man. He started off at $100,000. Literally in a month, they gave him a pay bump to like $125,000 just cause they were like, because tech companies adjust your pay to the market. So sometimes they'll give you a random pay bump just to make sure they're paying you according to the market, because they don't want to lose their staff. which is what my company is starting to go through. My company is a great company, but because my company hasn't gone public yet, they're really kind of tight on their finances. So with that, they're not paying a lot of their staff the market value of what we should be getting paid. So anyway, that's that question. So next question, tech sales for introverts. Look, I'm going to say this. This is going to sound kind of blunt. This might be a Marine, it might be because I'm a Marine. It might be because I'm a man. It might be because, I'm from the hood. I don't know. I'm going to be straight up. Man, look. Let me be nice first. Tech sales, you can do tech sales as an introvert. There are plenty of people who at my company that do tech sales that are introverts. It's not a personality thing. It's just you following the process, procedure, things like that. Nevertheless, please don't allow things like your personality type, things like, oh, I'm not passionate about that. Please do not let that stuff keep y'all broke. Please do not let that stuff keep you broke. I enjoy about, in terms of my job, the only thing I like about my job is when I'm demoing customers. When I'm on, like, I don't care for the studying. I don't care to learn the technology. I don't care for that stuff. And that's the bulk of what I do. That the majority of the time I'm really studying. That's the bulk of my time, what I do. I'm an extrovert. I actually would prefer to be at an office, like at least 2 days in a week. I like working remote, but I prefer to be in the office. Nevertheless, I'm going to do what I need to do to provide and to make this money. So our job, and I said this before in another video, our jobs, today we're in a weird era where we all want a job that like makes us happy and fits our personality. That's never been the case all throughout history. This is a very new thing. And I think it's something that's really keeping certain communities broke, is because we don't want to do stuff because it doesn't fit our personality, because it's like, that's not really for me. It's like, yo, make this big money in tech and then invest this money into what you're actually passionate about. If you're passionate about traveling, look, I know a lot of travel influencers. A lot of them travel influencers y'all see on Instagram, not all of them, let's be clear. A lot of them are broke. Like, and I say that because many of them have told me that. They're like, a lot of us don't really make money like that. People think we make money. Like, a lot of us are actually struggling. And so sometimes we're like, I want to be a travel influencer. Or like when I was a poet, like, I want to be a poet. I'm going to be super transparent. I was talking to Ezekiel. Some of y'all do or don't know Ezekiel. And he will be comfortable with me sharing this. I was at his crib like 2 years ago. And he was saying how when he was doing poetry, like back then, like some years ago, he's doing much better now. Him and his wife, they're in the event space. They're freaking killing it. I ain't about to tell y'all how much they making and what they doing. But let's just say my little $250,000 that I'm making ain't got nothing on them. Like they on they Denzel. King Kong ain't got ish on me. They doing really well. Nevertheless, as big as he was and is, but as big as he was as a poet, he confessed he was talking to the fellas and said, like, man, I was struggling to pay bills. I was not doing that well. And it blew my mind. I'm like, dang, for dang near 8 years, I'm chasing you, trying to be as popular, as big as you as a poet and stuff. Of course we're cool now, all of that. So that's cool. But I'm like, dang, I was chasing a career that wasn't even financially lucrative. Now, mind you, I was doing it because I love to minister. I love the art of poetry. But at the end of the day, I need to provide. I gotta eat and gotta pay the bills, all that good stuff. So we need to not get caught up in wanting to chase the fun things that aren't gonna make a lot of money. So please, please, please do not get caught up in the whole. We see it on social media about like, you got to do what you love. It's like, okay, and you're going to be broke. Like most times you're going to be broke. Like leverage a career that you can make a significant income from and then invest that money into your passions. And maybe through investing it into your passions, you can start that business or whatever you want to do. Because now I can start dang near, let me not be, I'm not trying to be arrogant or nothing, like Lord, like keep me humble and stuff, but like, I could start dang near anything I want to do now. with this job. Like, I could literally do what I want to do. It's crazy because I work remote. I could literally next week, I could leave the country and not even have to tell my company. All I need is my laptop and my webcam. I could leave the country and work in another country next week. And there's nothing to it. It's like, man, you got to think like of how you can leverage these opportunities, how you can leverage the money, how you can leverage the opportunity of working remote. Like, it's crazy. So please, yes, you can do tech sales as an introvert. There's plenty of people I know that are introverts who do tech sales, but also please, y'all, let's not get caught up on wanting to chase something just for personality or just because, whatever. So anyway, let's move forward. All right. So someone said, never sold anything. Would I be good for tech sales? Yes, you would be good for tech sales. Tech sales is different than normal sales because tech sales is B2B sales, but it's B2B sales with multi-million-dollar, sometimes billion-dollar companies. So understand this. When we think sales, let's be real. When most of us think sales, we think what's called B2C sales. We think business to customer sales. That's probably the hardest kind of sales to do because 9 times out of 10, when you're selling products to customers, you're selling something that's convenient, not something that's a necessity. Like, makeup companies, the reason why they sell so much money is because, or make so much money, they've convinced women from little girls growing up. You said B2B. B2B means business to business. So I'm not going to get into the whole makeup company thing, but basically, so for example, y'all know I do the relationship counseling session stuff, right? People still book sessions. Somebody literally booked the session while I was sitting here. And that's why I saw like some money like hit my account or whatever when I was sitting here. So people book relationship counseling sessions. I'm a certified relationship counselor for those who didn't know. And that's technically, if we're going to look at it business wise, that's B2C sales. That's a business. I'm a business and I'm selling something to a customer now or a client. Now, no one needs a relationship counselor. It's valuable, especially depending on what's happening in your life and your relationships, all that. Some people need it. But, like, do you need it? No, it's very beneficial, though. It's like a trainer at a gym. Most people don't really need a trainer. Some people do, but it's a convenient. It's very beneficial to have that. So these are things, B2C, you're usually selling things that customers don't need. It's not something they need. And even if they have a need for it, they usually can get it somewhere else. B2B, you're selling to a business. Businesses have needs. You know what a business need is? A business need is to make money. That's a business need, is to make money. You said as a trainer, I beg to differ. Yeah, you're right. I'm stepping on toes. Some people do need a trainer. Some people straight up do need a trainer. But you know what I mean? I guess it's more so a mindset thing, and some people aren't educated on knowing like fitness stuff. But anyway, so yeah, my bad. I ain't trying to step on your toes. But anyway, so B2B is different because businesses want to make money. That's a company's called their bottom line. At the bottom line, every business is in it to make money. But businesses have issues. They have issues whether it's with their software. They have issues when it comes to their staffing. They have a whole bunch of issues that slows down or bottlenecks them from making more money. So every business, especially serious businesses that are $1 million, $1 billion businesses already have millions of dollars, hundreds and thousands of dollars set aside to purchase products or software from other businesses to help their business run better so they can make more money. So when you do B2C, if I walk up to any one of y'all and I'm like, hey, you need a relationship counselor? I'm your guy. You are like, do I need it? I probably don't. Do I? I probably don't. Maybe I do. Maybe I don't. I don't know. Like, you're kind of going back and forth. And then when I'm like, hey, like my counseling sessions right now, I think my sessions are $145. Newsflash, y'all. Next week, my counseling sessions are going up to like $250, $300. Like, the price is going way up. The reason why is because my time is so limited right now. Like $145 for me to spend an hour. I love people, but that's not a wise use of my time. Like, that's not a wise use of my time for $145. That's a waste of my time. So the price about to go up. It's about to go up. If that's too much for anybody to book, I'm totally cool, totally fine, because God is good. I'm straight. So anyway, if most people don't have $200, $300 set aside for a relationship counselor or coach, what's name? I just saw a coach jump on here. Coach Taylor Nichols. She's a relationship and I think life coach or counselor too. Y'all should check her out. Now you might not have $300 sitting to the side to pay a relationship counselor, but businesses do have money set aside, and that money is meant to go towards buying another company's product and technology to help their business run better. So B2B, especially if you're talking $1 million, $1 billion companies, it's different than B2C. You're not trying to convince someone that they need something. They already know they need it, and they need it to make more money. So they're already in the market for it. And then the second part about it is they already have the money allocated to the side. So it's not the weird sales thing where it's like you're trying to convince them, like, well, no, you really need this product. You don't have to tell them that. Not 9 times out of 10, but most times, you find out about companies when you do tech sales because those companies have been on websites where they're looking for the technology that your company provides. So if you do an outbound call or an outbound email, you're calling a company. Yeah, it's a person, but it's their job to find the technology that your company provides. It's not their money, so it's not you trying to convince them to spend money out of their pocket. It's their company's money, and the money is already meant to purchase that technology. So it's easier. It's way different. So take normal sales out of your mind. We're talking tech sales, companies with big money, that money is going towards buying products and stuff. You said this is an amazing live, man. Thank you. Great for the gym. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, God bless you. Thank you. I'm happy this is blessing you. So that's tech sales. So you don't have to have a background in sales to do tech sales. CourseCareers will train you on tech sales. Like these boot camps, they give you what you need, like straight up. If you have no background in it, these boot camps give you what you need to make sure you're good. Don't worry about it. All right. So someone said, what's the day-to-day for a sales engineer? I'm going to say this. I'm going to breeze over this really quickly. So my day-to-day, depending on the day, my work day, I could start working at 9 a.m. Like today, I had to start working at, no, I'm lying. Today I had to start working at 9:30. Tomorrow, I don't start working until 10 a.m. Next week. And I can change my schedule too. Like I could literally, if I want to work 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., I could do that. Like if I want to do that all next week and work 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Now, mind you, that's not going to look good. I'm not going to get fired. I can't get fired. I'll put my 2 weeks notice in. But even my company wouldn't fire me. But that would limit my productivity to where, like, the more I work, the more I do, the more money I'm making the company, the better it looks on my part. It just looks good. So I've mentioned this before. I've had multiple days where my work didn't start until I'm probably going to, man, shoot, let me share my screen to show y'all one of these days this week. I think I had a day this week where I only worked like a couple hours. Okay. Yeah, here we go. I'm gonna turn my screen around so y'all can see my computer screen. All right. How you do this? I feel like an old person right now. How I turn the screen around? Boom. Is that it? All right, bet. So this week. It's grayed out because these days are over. For example, this was Tuesday. So all of this, y'all see this. This is me getting up in the morning, going to the gym, all that. This is something I do where I'm just personally, I never do this. Y'all see that on Tuesday, I didn't have to start working until 10 a.m. I literally had no work to do until 10 a.m. I was in a meeting for 10 to 11, had a break. This is when I put in my 2 weeks notice. When y'all see Cyrus and Jeff sync, that was when I put my 2 weeks notice in when I was speaking with Jeff, my manager. So I met with him. Y'all see this? Then I had another meeting, 11:30 to 12:30 p.m. Then I had another meeting, 12:30 to 1. I was done for the rest of the day. Y'all see that? I literally worked 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. And I had like little mini breaks and stuff in between. And 2 of these were just like hangout meetings. Like Jeff and Omar, these were just hangout meetings. So literally getting paid 6 figures that on Tuesday I only worked about 2.5 hours. Now, Monday, same thing. I started around 10 a.m. Monday, I wasn't done until, y'all see it, I was done at 6. I had breaks in between. Y'all see these large gaps where I was taking breaks. I was going and running errands, hanging out, posting stuff on Instagram, all of that. Now today my day started early. It started at 9:30, which for me is early. Sometimes my days start at 9, but today started at 9:30. Really started at 9:15 because I had a pre-meeting sync. Y'all see this day was more packed. But after 3 o'clock, I was done. So Monday, I worked until 6. I had large breaks in between. Tuesday, I only worked about 2.5 hours and I was done after 1 p.m. Wednesday was just goofy. Today, Thursday, I was done at 3 o'clock. And so, and mind you, it's customizable. So like, for instance, like let's look at next week. I'm about to click to next week. Boom, I'm at next week. So my schedule, so this is my calendar. I haven't accepted these meetings yet. I could decline some of these if I want to, and I would not get in trouble. I could literally say, hey, I'm not going to show up for this. You can get somebody else to be in this meeting, and I won't get in trouble. Y'all see this? See this busy? It say busy to 12:45. Somebody put something over my busy. I'm not going to go to this because I'm busy, and I chose that I'm busy. No, so what I do, so I could move this busy and I could do whatever. I do 45 minutes break. I could make my break literally, I could make it an hour that day. And I'm actually going to do it. I'm going to make my break an hour that day. Boom. I could do that. Nobody's going to say nothing to me. I could make it an hour and a half. I've made my breaks before. I've made my breaks 2 hours before, 2.5 hours before. Ooh, that light is trash. There we go. I made my breaks 2 hours before. I could do what I want to do. Now, mind you, is it the best thing to do? No, because it's going to affect your productivity and stuff like that. Yeah, that was Google Calendar. Now, someone asked a quick question. Yeah, that was Google Calendar. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I might need to do a part 2 just dedicated to the questions. I don't know. Someone said, typically, do you make your own schedule? I could, so what happens as a sales engineer, people throw meetings on my calendar and I accept them or I decline them. 9 times out of 10, I accept the meetings. But I can block off, literally, I can make my break whatever hour of the day I want to make it. And I can make it a 2-hour break if I want to. I can make it but there have been days, let's be clear, there have been days I didn't have a break, because I forgot to put breaks on my calendar. And it was the night before I realized my whole day was flooded. I had breaks, but it was days where when I was done working, I was like, bruh, I felt like I worked for this 6-figure salary, straight up. But it's way different than normal companies. It's way different. You're in control of your schedule for the most part. All right, so we're almost at time. I have a lot more questions to get to. My apologies, y'all. I'm gonna answer 3 questions real quick. We're gonna have to end this live after I answer these 3 questions. I have more questions, so we'll do a follow-up live next week, probably on Monday. And I'll get to these other questions and I'll take on more questions. That live will just be a Q&A live. It'll just be a Q&A. Actually, I'm going to bring on one of the people who did CourseCareers that through me, they saw it because I posted about it. They started working at a tech company already. And I'm going to bring them on next week so they can tell you all about their experience with CourseCareers, all of that. But I'm going to answer the questions and stuff. So anyway, let me go ahead and answer 3 of these. Yeah, I'll do a part 2, and the part 2 will be dedicated to that guest and also answering the rest of these questions and other questions y'all send in. I'm going to answer 3, then I'm going to be done. All right, so someone said, therapists wanting to get in tech, any advice? Yes, do a tech boot camp. The tech industry is disrupting every other industry. So people don't know this. I keep up with this stuff because I'm a nerd. I follow a bunch of technology channels and stuff on YouTube. There's technology that's entering the therapy and counseling space. There is VR technology and AR technology, VR virtual reality, AR augmented reality. So VR is where you put headsets on to see a world that isn't real. AR is where you basically invite a world into your world. It's hard to explain, but literally there are technology that therapists are starting to use and offices are starting to use, where, let's say, for example, there are trauma patients, maybe someone who was in war and they're dealing with PTSD. They're using technology to actually have the person relive the situation, so that way they can like walk them through their trauma and like show them how you're alive, you overcame it, stuff like that. Yeah, I got you. I'm gonna do a part 2 with these questions and stuff. So yeah, get in tech. There's opportunity. So if you still want to work at a doctor's office with therapists, you can do that working in tech, and you'll make more money than those therapists make, because therapists don't really get paid that much money. The vast majority of them don't. I think they make roughly around $50,000 to $80,000. That's like the average like that therapists make. But if you get in tech, you could be at a therapist's office working in tech, getting paid $140,000, $150,000. Like, it's dope. All right, second question, the second out of the 3 I'm going to answer. Did tech give you a better preparation for marriage? Well, I'm not married, but it is proven that the career where there are the least amount of divorces are the tech careers. So, ladies, y'all marry a man who's in tech. Statistically speaking, they have a divorce rate that's only at like 20% or 21%, whereas the national average divorce rate is closer to, I think, like 50% or 55%. So I don't know what's going on in the marriages with the bros that's in tech, but it's looking pretty good. I'm gonna say that much. Y'all know I'm a huge data nerd. I'm always looking up statistics and numbers and stuff. All right, so someone said transitioning to high-paying tech jobs is a boot camp necessary. So she already works at Dell. She said she works at Dell. She wants to know that she needs to do a boot camp to transition to a higher-paying tech job. Well, that depends. It depends on the job that you're transitioning over to. Yeah, it depends on the job that you want to transition over to. So if you're in tech sales, I'll say this: if you're in tech sales and you want to eventually become a sales engineer, all the people, my company right now is promoting the tech sales people into sales engineering positions, or not promoting them, but helping them make lateral moves over into sales engineering positions. So you can do that straight up. But yeah, like, would you need to do a tech boot camp? It depends on what you do, because you could work at a tech company and just be a customer success person. I don't know what you do. Is it tech? Is it actually tech related? And then how similar is it to the job that you want to transition over to? I will say this: most tech companies that are worth their salt, they have an education stipend. So my company, for example, that I'm transitioning from, they have a $1,500 education stipend. So technically, I could use my company's money to do another tech boot camp, or at least put some of that money down towards another tech boot camp to leverage my knowledge and experience. Maybe I want to learn about developing and coding. I could use my company's money to do that. And then I could apply to positions in my company where I could get paid more money, because now I'm dual in my knowledge and training. Or now I can apply to other companies with that role. So you can definitely do that. Leverage your company's money if they have education stipends. Outside of that, I'm going to go ahead and stop there. So yeah, my apologies, y'all. Got to 7. There were 20 questions. Only got to number 7. But I still think this was valuable. I still think this was beneficial for people. Thank y'all for tuning in. I'm so happy this blessed people. I'll be transparent. I've done a couple lives talking about tech boot camps and stuff. It can be weird, because when I used to talk about relationship stuff, like sometimes y'all know how social media is. Sometimes you can get in your head and it's like, okay, you used to talk about, when I used to talk about relationship stuff, it'll be like 200 something people on the live. When I'm talking about tech and telling people how they get into tech, sometimes it'll only be like 20 people on the live, 15 people on the live. And I was like, man, this is so weird. And I'm like, why are people, but I was like, I'm not going to let this discourage me, because at the end of the day, it's helping people. At the end of the day. So it's cool to see. So I was very shocked to see so many people on here. I thought it was going to be like 30 or 40 people. So I'm happy y'all tuned in. I'm happy this really blessed people. Now, this live, when it's over, I'm going to, not tonight, but tomorrow morning, I'm going to upload this live to my Patreon community. tomorrow morning. So I behoove you to subscribe to it, to watch it. But I'm only going to keep it up there until next week, and then I'm going to close out the Patreon community because I haven't been posting content on there, and I don't want people to keep getting charged and stuff, and people think I'm trying to run off with their money and not put content on there. There's a bunch of content on there already that I haven't posted on LinkedIn. So, or not on LinkedIn, I haven't posted on Instagram. So specifically my interview with that girl who's a tech recruiter, and she gave all those tips and gems as to how to structure your Instagram, as well as other people that are seniors in tech. All of that's on that LinkedIn page. Or not LinkedIn, guys, too many pages. All of that's on the Patreon channel, Patreon page. So click the link in my bio, go to the Patreon so you can get access to that. And I'll close it down probably next weekend. Look, I love y'all. I'm going to go ahead and pray out. I'm going to pray a little blessing over y'all. Lord, I thank you, God, for everybody who tuned into this live. I thank you, Lord, that this live was beneficial and impactful for people. Lord, I'm grateful. I'm grateful for what you're doing for people. Just this opportunity to help men and women, people of color, God, get these incredible careers, God, to where we can step out of poverty. And in some of us, Lord, just stepping out of just average income or basic income. God, I thank you, Lord, just for these opportunities that are here. I pray, Lord, that you will keep this window open as long as possible for these opportunities. We don't know how long these opportunities will be here. God, we're grateful. I pray, God, a special blessing over everybody. I pray everyone has good sleep. I don't know what everyone's dealing with, but everyone's dealing with something. I pray, God, peace will reign in their life. I pray, God, that you will draw them nearer and closer to you so that they can grow in their relationship with you, their love for you, their desire for you. I pray, God, for peace in their relationships, their romantic relationships, relationships with their friends, their family. And I pray, God, that everyone has a smooth transition breaking into tech, and that they turn back and help others also break into tech. And it's in Jesus' name I pray. Amen. So that's that. Y'all already know, link in my bio. If y'all want to sign up for CourseCareers, again, I strongly recommend it. It's only $450 using my my referral thing, and you'll definitely break into tech, all that good stuff. I love y'all, man. Y'all have a good night. How the crap you in this junk? There we go.